Good afternoon to you. It is Sunday, March 20th at 3:55 p.m. If you're looking for a little break, short break from some NCAA tournament action, I've got it for you here. A little bit of analysis for the upcoming Purdue v Texas game tonight. 8:50 tip off. Hopefully, right around there. 8:50 tip off. Purdue will play. According to Ken Palm, the Purdue is the 14th best team in America right now. Texas is the 15th best team in America, according to that algorithm. If you're looking some comparisons, they have one common opponent all season. They both played in Incarnate Word. They played them within about 8 days of each other. Purdue beat them 79-59, I believe. Texas beat them like 78-33. Tough, tough road games for Incarnate Word, no doubt. They're just overmanned every time they play in December, and seems to be what their MO is. But that's the only common opponent. Some other things that I think are interesting. The tallest player I think on Texas is 6'8". If you're looking for a comparable team that Purdue played, Ohio State is pretty comparable. They're like a good version of Ohio State. Their defense is better. I think they have some better athletes. They also have Marcus Carr from Minnesota, which is a tough draw for Purdue and tough draw for Purdue's guards. They don't shoot the three very well. What did you say?
32.1, I think.
They shoot the three 32.1%. But their defense, specifically their defense up top, their guards, are really, really good. They cause a lot of turnovers. Do you remember how many?
I know 7.7 steals.
Okay, so about 7.7 steals a game for Texas. They're going to have a hard time handling Purdue's bigs. There's no doubt about that. They don't have a natural matchup to Purdue's bigs, but like Painter and Edey and Williams have all talked about when you're playing teams that are a little bit smaller, especially teams that are athletic. It's not just the one guy you have to worry about. You have to worry about how they're trying to defend. And Chris Beard is really good at getting teams ready to play defense against. He's a good defensive coach, period. If you don't know much about him, he coached under Knight at Texas Tech. So he's in the Bob Knight coaching tree. So that's an interesting factoid. Go ahead.
14.9 per game turnovers.
They turn the ball over
No,
quite.
they force.
They force 14.9 turnovers a game. Purdue turns the ball over just under that. Is that right?
I'll find it.
Yeah, I think. But they cause a lot of turnovers, and Purdue likes to turn over the ball a lot. So that'll be comfortable for both sides. See, that's funny. That's a funny joke. Do you have reason to be anxious for the Purdue-Texas game? Sure you do. If you're like me, you just wanted to see them win one game, just really to get that out of their system and get past that. You probably feel a little bit better. But I hate seeing Chris Beard across the way. Painter has to eventually beat him to get over this hump. I think Chris Beard's going to have a long career. He's going to be around. He's going to be a guy that's going to be in the way because he's going to be at Texas for a while, I would think. Although Texas fans are weird, maybe they'd run him out of town a little bit early. So you never know. But I think you're going to have to play Chris Beard in Texas probably multiple times in the next decade. I just kind of feel that way. And he's already played him twice in the last decade. Of course, losing to them at Arkansas Little Rock and then losing to them to Beard with Texas Tech when he was the head coach. One note about Texas Tech, remember that game was Purdue really was getting used to a new life without Isaac Haas. With Isaac Haas, it might have gone differently. Remember, they had to rely heavily on Matty Harms. That's a different type of center, of course, just not as physically dominant. Purdue right now, of course, has a dominant center. Texas does not have a dominant center. Texas also has 6 guys that transferred in this year. So the question is Texas a team that is gelling now and they're playing better basketball because of their transfers like Marcus Carr? Or are they just a team that never really gelled, never got all the way there? I would say most teams are kind of the latter of that, where they just it's tough when you have that many mercenaries. Really, what Beard's tried to do is rebuild the team in 1 year, and that's a hard assignment. The big thing you have to keep in mind, though, is that it's going to be probably a dogfight. Texas is really good at taking teams out of their comfort zone. So It's expect a hard fought game. Expect a game. I would say. I mean, I think it's probably gonna be in the 60s, which does not favor Purdue. Obviously, Purdue has only won 3 games this year in the 60s, and I think one of those two only won 2 games in the 60s. One of those was 69 points too recently. Was it Michigan State or
No,
Penn State?
lost, right, to Michigan State, or maybe the first second Michigan
Yeah,
State.
second one. So one of the last. I mean, so Purdue's not great in the 60s is the point. So that 70 points is probably a magic number. If Purdue can get to 70, I think they beat Texas. If they don't, I think that could spell doom for our Boilers. So, but it's gonna be a good game. Like I said, I'd compare them to Ohio State. Ohio State is small, pretty much. They've got a couple bigs that are not like Purdue's bigs, but they're big bodies that are aggressive and strong and will try to muscle up. But they're not Zach Edey. Let's be real honest. I mean, Travion Williams is more of an even matchup, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Eric Hunter specifically, how well he handles the pressure. I think that's probably the biggest question for me. If Hunter continues to play as he's been playing, if Hunter plays the game that I think he's capable of playing, I think Purdue wins. I think they get to that 70 points. I think they roll on, and then they get to play St. Peter's, of course, like everybody predicted. If you're anything like me, your bracket looks horrible. I'm stupid because I thought Illinois would put it together. I love their guard play. I still like their guard play, and they bowed out today to Houston. They got a horrible draw having to play Houston. Houston as a 5 seed is pretty horrible. Seems unfair. A team that was that good all season to be placed at the 5 doesn't seem right. But Illinois they should have lost to Chattanooga. So. What a waste, though. Think about that starting 5. You got Frazier, who is he's kryptonite to Purdue. I mean, so every time Purdue played him, it was horrible, just because he was going to be, wreaking havoc because he's so damn good. Plummer, who can bomb from about anywhere, has that quick release, a lot like Sasha's. Curbelo, who makes a lot of mistakes, but's a very, very talented guy. Williams, who's a glue guy. Cockburn, who is All-American. And they bow out in the second round. And Brad Underwood, of course, has never gone past the round of 32. He's done it like 5 times now, 3 different schools. Oklahoma State was his last stop before Illinois, only for a year there. And before that was who? Someplace down in Texas. Stephen F. Austin. So, but Underwood, man, not good in the tournament. So John Younger's on here watching. So is Melissa Hunt. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. John Younger, give me a humble brag. Nice timing. He just got off a run. Yeah, congratulations. I'm not going for a run today. My son's gonna go do something. But I thought instead of getting in shape, I thought I'd come talk to you guys. So I've sacrificed my own health for you guys today in this quick cast. So you're welcome. Okay, you're welcome. Today's quick cast, of course, brought to you by Martin Vintage. Gridiron Metalworks, and AJ's. Check those guys out. EatAJ's.com, MartinVintage.com, and GridironMetalworks.com, which will be up and running as soon as the tournament's over, pretty much. They're going to be, actually, before the tournament's over, they'll be back at it. So that's about it. Melissa Hunt says the defense reminds her of IU, and I think that's a good comparison, too. Like IU, they'll take you out of your comfort a little bit. They're also like IU, another comparison. They're 9 deep, I think. So that's something that Purdue's going to have to contend with, and it will be difficult. So I would, as a Purdue fan, not go into the game thinking this should be a cakewalk or a catwalk, as Wisconsin talked about years ago. It's one of my favorite things ever. Somebody misspoke. He was giving a pep talk to the Wisconsin team. And he said, "This isn't going to be no catwalk." And Frank Kaminsky said, "Meow." So this ain't going to be no catwalk. So it's not going to be a cakewalk or a catwalk. Anyway, let's see. One more comment here. Sam Bonnet says, "I'm worried that Ivy is going to get thrown off of their defense and have a bad game." Well, Sam, here's the thing. I think your concern is warranted just because they are going to do everything they can to make it very difficult on Ivy. And Ivy's going to be in that position we're very uncomfortable with, which means in traffic, right around 14 feet leaving his feet and not knowing exactly where he's going to go. It'll happen a couple times today. I think his decision making is going to matter. I think the two bigger things that I'm looking forward to, because I think Ivy will get his points because of the nature of his game. I think he will drive. I think he'll get free throws. But I think the bigger things, if you want to look for a catalyst to produce success and maybe even success going away, like winning by 7 points or more, would be if Sasha can actually hit his threes, which we don't have any reason to believe he is right now. Maybe that left hand is bothering him so badly that he can't catch and release very well. And then I said Eric Hunter. Eric Hunter's ability to handle the pressure, I think, is going to be a big deal because I think they will meet him at half court or further out every single play and make it difficult on him. NCAA tournament is really predicated on point guard play. It's a big deal. So Eric Hunter has been through this over and over. He should be ready, and I think he will be ready. That's about all for you today. We're at about 10 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. But thanks for tuning in again. Hope you have a great afternoon. We're about 5 hours, a little under 5 hours, until tip-off in Milwaukee. If you want to get up there from Indy, you could still probably make it there.
Fun fact.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Marcus Carr went to Pitt in his freshman year.
Oh, yeah. Marcus Carr, of course, had his third stop, if you didn't know that. He went Pitt, Minnesota, and now Texas. Hope he finds what he's looking for. Have a great day. God bless you. Hammer down. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.